All right, family, this is chapter 3 of Hurt Used to Live Here. Sometimes Beauty Can Conceal the Deepest Scars by Joyce Reed. All right, remember we left off, she was at the park. All right. My sister tried to pick me up and walk me home, but I passed out in the middle of the street, and that's really all I can remember. I found out later that I was in and out of consciousness. My sister said she was screaming for help and trying to hold me up at the same time. There were two girls walking our way, and my sister asked them as she was screaming and yelling to help her. She was screaming, "Someone, please help me. My sister, my sister. Can you please hold my sister while I get help?" She asked as my face was bleeding profusely. The two girls grabbed each arm and carried me out of the street. She told them that we stayed 2 blocks away. The two girls held me up while my sister ran home for help. When I woke up and came to, I was in the hospital getting CT scans and everybody was there. I was told that my face was full of blood and my mom thought that my teeth were missing and I would need stitches in my face. Thank God that was not the case at all. I was allowed to go home the same day, but my mom had to monitor me and wake me up every 2 hours for 24 hours just in case I went to sleep and ended up unconscious from blunt force head trauma. It was really bad. All the blood I saw in my granny's car on the ride home was crazy. The back seat was full of blood, and she had blue seats in her Grand Marquis. I thought my teeth were gone too, but thank God I was fine. The day after that incident, I was back outside playing with my brother and the other kids. It didn't faze me at all. At this point in my life, I had already broken my ring finger by playing toss outside in the front of the house. My brother and I were throwing the softball back and forth to each other when he decided that I was a pro basketball player and threw the ball so hard that it bent my finger all the way back and made my finger touch the top of my hand. Mind you, I was not flexible at all. I didn't want to go to the doctor, so I wrapped it with a metal board and taped it and went back to playing. A little broken finger wasn't going to stop me. Life changing. When I was 12, my brother and I, our next door neighbor, and my friend Renee that lived across the alley from me decided to walk to the park. While we were crossing the street, me and my next door neighbor were holding hands. My brother and Renee were holding hands just a few feet away from us. We called ourselves liking each other. You know, kid stuff. We were crossing the street to get to the park, and there was this nice guy who stopped for us to let us get across the street. We didn't cross at the stop sign because it was easier to cross in the middle of the street. It would take if you cut you right in front of the park. It was a huge van that let us go by. As me and my next door neighbor walked first in front of the van, a woman came from nowhere, going almost 60 miles per hour, and ran the stop sign. She hit us. All I heard was a bomb and screech with glass smashing. The next door neighbor tried to push me out of the way to prevent me from getting hit head on because I was on the side where the car was coming from, but I still hit my head on the windshield. Then I flew across the street from the impact and landed right in front of the park. He went through the windshield. I just cracked it and bounced back off. I tried to get up because it just felt like I bumped my head and was a little shook up. But when I tried to stand up, I couldn't. I fell right back down. My right leg was bent all the way backward. When I saw that, I passed out because my leg was bent in a backwards U position. I heard a girl yell, "You better act like you dead." And then I fainted. Not because she told me to, but after seeing my leg bent backwards, it made me pass right back out. It was like something you see on TV, or what I used to do with all of my Barbie dolls when I didn't want them anymore. It felt like my leg was missing. I had no feeling in them at all. The lady that hit us stopped the car and came to offer me a pillow. I really didn't know what was going on at that point, as I was in and out. I didn't know where my next door neighbor was, or my friend Renee, or if my brother was even gone. All I heard was different voices, and when I did come to, there were a lot of people surrounding me. I then heard the ambulance coming and my mother's voice saying, "Does she have on her school shoes. I would never forget that. Not is my baby. I will never forget that. Not is my baby okay or anything. She was worried about my school shoes more than anything or even me. We were not allowed to wear our school shoes outside at all. When we first got home, we had to change our school clothes and put on our play clothes before we went outside. My mom was so strict on that too. As they put me in the ambulance and closed the door and we prepared to pull off, my bed was not connected to the bars and the bed hit the back door, and at that point I thought I was dead. Not literally, because it was kind of funny. I saw this in a movie, so I was laughing in my head because I couldn't verbally say anything. I'm like, what's next? I arrived at the hospital on a body board and a neck brace in a lot of pain. They took x-rays of my body and a CT scan again of my head. The results were that the driver had chipped a piece of my patella, and the doctor said that eventually that little piece would break off. I never paid it any mind because I was only 12 and my knee was the last thing I was worried about. I was young and ready to get back outside, and I did in a couple of days. My next door neighbor's was okay too. He had over 30 stitches in his ear and he had a few bruises and bumps, but we were still alive. All my hair fell out due to all the glass that was in my hair. I had to wear ugly braids to make my hair grow back. 10 years later, a piece of my patella eventually fell off, and now you can literally feel it moving under my kneecap. I had to put pins and screws in my knee to hold it in place, and was on crutches for 6 months, and those were the worst 6 months ever. Being dependent on someone is the worst feeling ever. I hated not being mobile. Due to the surgery, I developed arthritis in my right knee, and now it hurts worse than before I even got my surgery. There would be times that I would just be walking and my knee would just go out on me. I would feel like I only had one leg. I would also fall down flights of stairs or trip over something really small. Then there were times that I was not able to walk for long periods of time because of the aching. Even now, if I drive for a long period of time, it feels like my bones are grinding and rubbing together every inch I make. Driving in the traffic is very painful at times too, when it's a lot of stops and go. If I wanted, I could be a meteorologist because I know when it's going to rain or snow outside because of the feeling I get in my knee. It causes my knee to ache so bad that I could barely walk or sleep at night. It has been said on the web that when pressure in the environment changes, we know that the amount of fluid in the joint or the pressure inside of the joint fluctuates with it. Individuals with arthritic joints feel these changes much more because they have less cartilage to provide cushioning. I don't think I have any cushion at all. I remember the lady that hit us came to the house with flowers for me after I got out of the hospital, and my brother answered the basement door, took the flowers from the lady, and smacked her with them. He then told her that she better not ever come back again, and no one wanted her flowers. He then slammed the door in her face. That's just how Michael was. He was very overprotective of me. Anyway, that messed with me. He would make sure he was known as the big brother. Later, we were told that we were jaywalking and it was illegal. Wow. As far as money from the accident, I don't know what happened to it or if I even got paid. The only person that will know is my mother. She told me later that she paid for my medical bills, but we were on public assistance. All right, that's chapter 3. See you all later for chapter 4. It's getting good, ain't it, y'all? Again, this is the name of it.